All right, everyone. Hello and welcome back. It is already week 3, which is a little crazy. And you might be thinking, I can't wait to see how training goes this week because of how crappy I left you guys at the end of last week. So let's just hop right into Monday. Shockingly, I woke up like the whole weekend didn't happen. As far as the run for this week, we are upping them from 30 minutes to 35 minutes. So just a 5-minute increase. We're still going to stick with the 30-second run and 30-second walk just because I am really comfortable with that. And I do want to try the 1 minute. I mean to do it every time I go out to run. But what happens is I have the watch set with the 30-second intervals. So I always just am like, oh, it's ready to go. Start. And I forget, like, let's change it. You know, let's try the 1 minute. I swear though, one of these days I will actually change the time for it to say 1 minute. We will do that once my memory apparently starts working. Now, something a little shocking this week, as you kind of saw in the title, my mom actually joined me on the run. Now, she does join me on every run I do, but she typically will like walk or speed walk, but she kind of was like, I just feel like I want to try to run today. And if you're new here, you might not know the reason that she hasn't been running is because she has prolapse. And if you don't know what that is, totally fine, because honestly I had never really heard of it until she got diagnosed with it. To keep it simple, it just means like one or more of your pelvic organs are falling out of you, which is crazy. So that's why she hasn't obviously run, because the pressure of running can make it worse. She wanted to try running simply this week because she felt like sometimes when she's walking fast, she's pounding her feet harder than if she could like run/jog. So she wanted to just like see how it would feel. And she only missed, I think, like 5 of the intervals when we were like all said and done. In my opinion, I think she actually did really good for jumping into like the 3rd week of this. For how crappy we came off of this weekend, I am so shocked at how well this run really was, despite it being in the rain.
It's like getting hit by a ton of little needles, the rain right now. That's how bad it is.
Now, for today's run, my mom will not be joining me for the intervals or for legs. I'll explain why in a little bit, but I'm going to keep doing the Nike Run Club intervals, obviously. I did enjoy this one. I think my only issue was it felt like really short, so the last interval I just repeated it 2 more times. One thing I do wish is that the intervals were just a tad bit longer, but obviously we do legs afterwards, so it is kind of okay that it's short since I have to do something after it anyway and I don't want to be in the gym all day and all night. I will say, as you can see, there are no clips of me doing these interval runs simply because my neighbor was literally right next to me on the treadmill and I kind of was like, ooh, I don't want to film myself while my literal neighbor is next to me. I honestly probably should have, because she was having a full conversation very loudly about her love life next to me on the treadmill, so she clearly didn't care. So I guess if it happens again next time, I just won't care as well.
I'm a little scared to use the cable machine after last week, so this is the contraption I've built. No one's here, so that's also why I'm using both bars. But everyone else is selfish in the gym, so I might as well too. Bars, the 40-pound weights that's on the left over here in the middle of the room. I guess they wanted me to trip. And then I grabbed the other bar to hold on to. Gonna stand on 25 plates and we're using the bands that we bought to do kickbacks. So that's the plan for today. This is working well so far.
As you saw, obviously with legs, I pretty much did everything body weight or with like a band. A little too much PTSD with the whole leg thing. I didn't want to like push it and go crazy. Luckily though, we did make it through this workout completely injury free. This is the point where my mom decided she wanted to try my whole routine, not just doing the running portion, but actually doing the weight routine. She feels like the program that she has been following this whole time is just at the point of like it's getting too advanced too quickly for her, so she figured I'll just try yours. The only problem was that the program that she did yesterday basically had her do like a form of a push day, so she was kind of doubling down on it. I mean, she did do the whole push day, but literally the next day she's like, yeah, I'm so super sore. And you know, could that be because I have an amazing plan? Maybe. Could it be because she did 2 push days in a row? Possibly. I think we should just say that it's because I have an amazing plan personally, but who knows? We'll see how it goes next week when she does it again. Obviously, Thursday, we are doing another run. We're going to stick with the 35 minutes. This was actually the day I was contemplating being like, oh, let me do the 1 minute. I was actually going to switch it and do it. And then obviously, since I'm running with my mom, it's easier that we do the same intervals. And she was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just feeling a little uneasy today. I don't know if I want to like push it that, which I said, fine. But funny enough, she actually would like take an extra like 30 seconds at some point and then jog a whole nother like for a whole minute to make up for it. So maybe we should have done them, but I think it's better that we still stuck with the 30 minutes. We didn't do too much.
Okay, well, I'm all done. Feeling pretty good. I don't know exactly what time because I wasn't paying attention. So 14 something, but Feeling good. We're going a little bit of a different way today, so we'll see how it works.
The biggest thing I actually realized on this run is I really need to focus more on picking up the pace while I'm walking, because I think what's happening is I try to obviously focus on my breath while I'm running, but if I lose it, I usually use the walking portion to like really focus on regaining it. And I think sometimes that like slows me down, and I feel like that is where I'm losing time, basically, is because I'm walking too slow. Now, obviously, when it comes to the race, I know I'm going to probably push myself more, but still, I feel like that is like my flaw, is like the walking part is where I'm going too slow. Funny enough, though, I actually was like, oh, I feel so much like slower. I don't feel like I did as good as I did on Monday. But when you compare the two runs, I actually went further and faster than I did on Monday. So I think that's always so funny to be like, I felt like I didn't do as good, but like when you look at the numbers, it's like, no, I did better actually. For Friday, if you remember last week, we actually took this as a rest day, and we did the same thing this week. We were both really tired and both had more work that we still had to do, so we were like, let's just push the pole day to Sunday to see how we feel about taking the rest day on Friday instead of Sunday. And I actually do think I kind of enjoyed it. I don't know if we'll make this the like a new official rest day. I think it was nice because sometimes with Sundays we lean a little bit too much into like lazy Sunday vibe, and it's obviously less productive. I think this will be like a nice option if we want to just like shake up the plan if it's feeling like too repetitive. On Saturday, we finally got to do the 4-mile run, and of course it was raining again and super windy and cold.
Why? Why must it sound like this every time we run?
I will say, luckily though, with all those three things happening again, it was not as bad because the wind would like come and go. I mean, when the wind was there, it was hitting the hell out of you, but it wasn't constant like it was last week. The coldness also started to go away. Obviously, the longer we ran, like we were starting to get like more warmed up. I mean, I look like it was absolutely frigid out. By the way, I have my sweatshirt tied. That's primarily just so it wouldn't like fall off every time the wind would come. Also, the rain was definitely not as bad because last week it was like giant pellets hitting you. This was more of like a little fine mist.
2 miles, that was crazy. Done, 30 minutes, halfway. That's all that matters, is halfway.
Now, one thing we actually did different to this run compared to our other runs was suggested by my mom. She was like, maybe we could do like a 45-second walk just so we have a little bit more time to recover since we're going to be running longer. And I felt like that was a pretty good idea. So we did do that. We still ran for 30 seconds. We kind of both agreed at the end, maybe we could have done like 35 seconds or 40 seconds just because it did feel a little bit long. But I mean, I think it was a nice amount. Overall, I'm really happy with this run. I kind of was expecting to be like well over an hour. Now we were just like shy, like 15 seconds under the hour, but I'm still really happy with that because obviously so much more progress than I had done on past runs.
My foot just went in a puddle. They weren't wet from the rain. They were sweaty. Now they're, just my left foot dipped that thing in like it was Oreo and milk. It is now just wet and cold. Just the big toe. And it was a mud. It was mud. Yuck.
Latte or something.
I personally do feel like I probably could have gone a little bit faster. I do think the weather was obviously like holding me back because as you saw, I dipped my foot right in the puddle. I think I was spending so much time trying to like dodge puddles that I was like slowing down to make sure I didn't like trip in a puddle. Also, obviously there's like paint lines on the ground that you don't want to like accidentally like slip on. So I feel like I was trying to be like a little cautious. Now after this, we went and did probably not our best move, but it's a move that we continue to do after every time we are supposed to be running for the longest distance, and that is going to the store and running errands. One day though, we will just go home and relax. When that day is, I don't know, because we ended the night with over like 22,000 steps. Shockingly though, I thought on Sunday we were gonna wake up and be like super sore because basically I doubled the entire workout that I was supposed to be doing, and I didn't feel that bad. And I think that actually was a really good thing because I think if I felt crappy, I don't think I would have gotten up and done pole day. I do also think it helps that pole day is like my easiest day. I'm the most comfortable with pole day because majority of the moves that I do in pole day are ones that I've had in my plan from the very first time I ever went to the gym. One thing I really tried to focus on was making sure that I got up a lot periodically throughout the day to help the blood keep flowing in my legs, because I know when I just sit around, they definitely become more sore, where if I'm like up and moving, it helps. Obviously, I had to get my 10,000 steps anyway. I do want to say my legs were still definitely sore from the 4-mile run, but they were sore. They were not like in pain. Obviously, the plan for this week was originally not to have my mom do the exact workouts that I was doing, but it was fun. It was a nice little like chain. The only thing that she ended up not doing was my leg day, which we will probably be doing next week, and so on, if she likes it. One thing that I actually wasn't able to do for her this week that I do want to get a chance to do was figure out her magic mile. Now that is what the Galloway method uses to figure out what your run walk intervals should be. I feel like we probably are about the same simply because she is very comfortable with the 30-second walk, 30-second run. My plan was actually to do this on the day that we did the 4 miles, so that she had like a warm-up mile, and then she was gonna do like the run and then like a cool down mile. But since it was raining, we figured best not to. Hopefully next week we can find a time to do that for her. Overall though, I feel like she did pretty damn good for just like hopping into the 3rd week. Also, I think the last time she did anything maybe like running related was when we did our last 5K in November, and she primarily did walk that. I think there was like a few maybe spurts where she was like jogging just to catch back up to me, but this was like her first real time like running, jogging, and all that. As far as the upper body portion of my weight routine for her, I feel like we have something there. I think there are some things that we're gonna have to like tweak, because I do feel like she's not the biggest fan of the cable machines. For me, I love them. They're like my favorite. If I could do all my workouts on the cable machine, I would. I don't know why. They're just my favorite, but she's like not the biggest fan, so I think we'll find some ways to tweak that for her. Overall though, I feel like we had a pretty great week of working out. We finished the week with a little over 12.5 miles, and obviously did the 10,000 steps, and that brought us to like 38 miles in total of just like walking. I definitely feel really good and ready for next week. I just have one simple thing I want to happen next week, and that is a lot less rain. Honestly, I could care less if it rained the days that I'm in the gym or I'm just not going outside and running. You know, it would be really great to not have to run 4 miles in the rain. And I know once it's officially summer, I'm going to be begging for these rainy days back. But right now, you know, I could just like a little less, you know. But that is all for this week. I do hope you guys enjoyed. We will have to come back next week to see if I will have to run in the rain again. I'm really hoping I don't. But till then, roll the outro.